stress is the small things you're avoiding.
Yeah.
That's like, it builds up over time. Learning to, hey, let's take care of this customer right now.
Right.
Get it taken care of. Get it out of the way for them. They're going to be less upset. It's going to be less stress for me. That's probably the biggest thing, is taking care of those small things.
All right, so I always like to start these off with really detailed, deep meaning questions. So I'm gonna do that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the first 3 apps on your phone you look at?
Oh man, that is deep. Probably ESPN, Job Tread, which is my schedule.
Oh, okay.
And then, oh man, probably X, I'm guessing.
What is it?
X.
Oh, X.
Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm old. I still call it. I've been on Twitter since
probably
like
X.
2000.
I should be ashamed of that, but those are the 3.
No, I probably do it too. It's funny. Just this morning, because I have an iPhone. I have it in the dock.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, I'm still getting in there every day, but it's not like the first thing I look at every day.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe I need to. It's been on my dock for a decade.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's time I put something else down here that I use more often or whatever. But yeah, it's one of the first ones
I was thinking about lying and saying it's the Bible app, but man, I felt like that was a little bit sacrilegious to lie about it.
My Bible app is one of the first ones.
Right.
But it is because, like you mentioned, the scheduler. What do you call it?
Job Tread. So Job Tread's where we do all of our business.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, I have a really bad habit of, like, if I get into email, we use Asana. If I get into Asana,
right,
I'm diving in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no gym, no peaceful time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mine is the Bible. And I use, like, the focus things on the iPhone to make sure that I don't see email.
Right.
I don't see Asana.
Right.
Until after the morning is kind of done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just puts me in a mood all day long. Morning routine?
Morning routine, man, not a great morning routine guy. Okay. I'm more, it depends on what's happening, but most times it's wake up, eat breakfast, shower, get out the door, go to the job. That's pretty much it.
What about evening?
Evening a little bit more, yeah. I would have more of like a put the boys to bed, workout type thing in the evening. I'm not really a morning person. I'm more of a night owl. So
that's uncommon in your industry.
Yeah,
right? Usually guys in the roofing industry are, early morning.
Yeah.
They're in good moods and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you're able to work out in the evening too.
Yeah, that's normally my time. Yeah.
Man, I have such a hard time working out in the evening.
I do too. I mean, but I have a hard time working out anytime. I mean, it's more discipline beats motivation because I'm not a very motivated to work out, but I try to be disciplined to work out.
Yeah, man, those weights are heavy.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so talk to me about, in your questionnaire you talked about confidence.
Right.
Talk to me about a time that you're running the business and your confidence had to come into question.
Oh man, every other day? No, at the very beginning. So when I took over the business, it was in a little bit of a rough spot financially. Okay. And I actually remember a specific day. I was at RSG, which at the time was our supplier. I was sitting in my truck talking to a buddy at home on the phone, and I was like, bro, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like it was actually pretty early on, but just the stress and it was just because I didn't really know a lot of stuff about business side of things. And so it was more that side of things. Yeah. That would have been 2021 probably.
Okay.
Right when it was at the very beginning. So I've only been in it about 5 years. So
you've been in it for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's when you
took over.
6
years, I guess.
You took over the business.
Right.
6 years.
Right.
Yeah. In what ways have you? Because like roofing's like it's been around for generations, right?
Right.
But like, in what ways have you kind of put your own? I like to say mustard or like your own sauce on it to make it yours. Like, what changes have you made to your processes or whatever to the company that make it different than the way it was 6 years ago?
For our business, nothing's the same. At the time, it was more run. I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. I might have to edit some of this. That's a good question. So the main thing for me has been scheduling better. So before, everything was in my head or in notes.
That's
like
tough.
that, my iPhone notes. Like that, I had all the jobs on there. Nothing was organized like it should be. We weren't buying anything in bulk. So I wasn't able to save my customers or myself money there. Things like that. Things to drive my price down more. buying bulk, having a place to store, things like that. Job tread is huge. Job tread, my main sales guy, Verlin, he has helped me set all that up because I'm not a tech guy. That's not my field.
That's not you, yeah.
No, and so he's taken that and ran with it, and so scheduling out the jobs and everything like that. Like I can go on my schedule and I see all that stuff that most people think is what you should do. For me, I was always just a roofer. You know, that was what I did.
You knew the trade.
Right,
you know, the job, yeah.
And so that I would never really got into all the business side of things, and so but I still had confidence I could figure it out. I was pretty excited about. I need to have a challenge, and so I was excited for the challenge.
You were
for it.
really
for
so
sure.
like going into it.
I mean, halfway through it, I was like, "This is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore."
What was I thinking?
but no, at the other side, it's. I still, it's funny. After about, I was telling my wife, this was back when it was terrible, tough times, and I was like, I just wish I could fast forward 3 years, and be at the point where I know it's worth doing it. And as soon as I got to that point, I was bored within about a month. Like I was like, I got to have something that a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And so
I can kind of feel that. And before I move on, I got a good friend who puts all of his stuff in his notes and and doesn't schedule out his stuff. And you know who you are. I love you. Let's change that. Okay.
That's right.
Shout out to you. So yeah, I kind of feel that like needing a new challenge. It's funny. I always tell my wife, this is, I've been married since 2020. I would say 15 times I've said to her, like, I'm close. I can see the light, about another 3 weeks. And I'll be a little less stressed and, I can kind of move on to something else. Yeah. But what happens is, once I accomplish it, once I triumph over it, now I need a new challenge. Right. And you almost find the hole. Where's the hole that I can plug or fill or whatever? And now it's a new challenge. Yeah, right? Kind of excites you.
For sure.
Earlier we talked about stresses. We touched on it for a second. How do you context owning the business, roofing, dad, husband, 3 kids, 3 boys?
3 boys. Yeah.
Okay. How do you manage stress?
That's a good question too. I mean I had the quote that came to my mind was the stress is the small things you're avoiding.
Yeah.
That's like it builds up over time. And so what I found is through my job tread. I'm giving job tread a lot of shout out here. Job tread is amazing for a builder, construction guys. It's the best.
Hey, make sure he gets a commission on every future sale.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's right. But no, the job tread, finding the small things that I'm avoiding has been the key for me because you'll have this job that you need to finish. It's just one small thing, and the customer's gonna be mad about something because you messed up on something. Right. Because no one's perfect. We mess up.
Can't please everybody.
So the key is how you handle those things. And so, especially at the beginning, I would find that I would kind of avoid those because I didn't want to, and that's where it caused all my stress. And so, learning to let's take care of this customer right now, get it taken care of, get it out of the way for them. They're gonna be less upset. It's gonna be less stress for me. That's probably the biggest thing is taking care of those small things. Because bigger things. Bigger things, they're easy to focus on.
And they usually will allot you a little bit more time to figure it out.
Correct.
Whereas if you're dealing with a customer and their roof, really time sensitive, right?
Correct, yeah.
You mentioned about taking over the business and not knowing the business side of things for some areas. Can you give me an example of something you kind of had to figure out on your own?
Had to figure out on my own. Yeah, insurance stuff for sure.
Oh yeah,
insurance stuff was it was a world that I didn't know anything about. Especially, I'm speaking specifically about my liability insurance, all the insurances that a business has to have. That's not anything I ever dealt with. Yeah. I just show up to work, clock in, do the job, go home. Yeah. Workman's comp. Workman's comp's horrible. As far as it's expensive is what I'm saying. Roofing is the most expensive workman's comp you can have, and so figuring stuff like that was things that and marketing. Yeah. Marketing, man. That was, it still is the hardest thing for me. Marketing is the most difficult thing for me to learn because it's just not my game at all. And so, that's where Verlin again has come in huge. My guy.
What do you do now?
As far as marketing goes, so Verlin does all of our marketing stuff. So he would take care of our socials and things like that, our SEOs, all that stuff. Even saying words that I don't understand.
It's okay,
now,
man.
So,
it's okay.
But that type of thing.
So documenting photos, and videos, and stuff like that.
Correct. Good. He would take care of that stuff. But we're still not, and he would say this as well. He just came on. Man, he's been with us for about a year now, so it's actually been a little bit more. But he's also doing some sales stuff. So
it's not full time.
No, it's not full time.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so. Man, the marketing is tough. If you want to sit down and just talk to me, for a long time about what
Anytime,
you...
we can talk about that stuff.
Yeah, that's the hardest part for me.
You know, because you're in an industry that's highly competitive, right? There's two ways to look at it, right? So there's all the things you just talked about, that's traditional marketing, right? But then there's the relationship side of it.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, there's nothing warmer than a referral from
100%.
You know, the neighbor,
100%.
right? Like, so like that customer service side of it, that relationship building side of it, the network side of it, is different than this traditional digi marketing that everybody talks about, but it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate relationships, right? You've been growing the business, so
word of mouth is our number
Is it?
one. Oh, by far.
Okay.
It's not even close. That's our number one. And so the one thing that we try to focus on is just making sure that the experience that the customer has is the best possible. That's our number one.
Yeah.
And then the second most important thing is if we make a mistake, it's how we take care of it. That you know, you can mess something up if you take care of it and the customer knows, hey, he could have just let that slide, but he took care of it. That builds that trust. And the number one thing they talk about is in the integrity side of things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we slide over that word. Integrity is so extremely difficult.
Huge.
It's really hard.
It's huge too.
Doing what you say when you said you're going to do it. And I mess it up every day. But we're striving for that. That's what we want to get to.
Yeah, you can't be perfect.
Right.
And it's the consistency of trying to be, right?
Right.
So even if you can't come through on something, I'll give you an example. My wife and I go to Disney.
Yeah.
My wife loves Disney. Shout out to my wife. So we go to Disney, and I think we were staying at Animal Kingdom, right? And they were doing some special something or other at some park. She wanted to go to the park, but you couldn't make a reservation. So we go downstairs and we're like, hey, you know, we're pass holders. We'd like to make a reservation for this, but the app won't let us do it. And I'm like, oh, well, let me see what I can do about that, you know? And the lady's, man, I'm not having any luck. Let me go talk to my manager. So she goes in the back, talks to somebody else, comes out, figuring something out. You know what, let's make a call. So they get on the phone and they're calling somebody, and we just kind of stand around chilling, whatever. They end up getting it done. Mm-hmm. But even if they hadn't, just the effort that they put into doing it. If they came over and was like, hey, look, can't make it happen, I would have been like, you know what, appreciate you making that effort. And we'd have figured out, we wouldn't even been mad or nothing like that because the effort.
100%.
Talk to me about a business relationship that you've created or gotten since you started that has been really super beneficial to the business.
Yeah. I'll shout out E&E Contracting. And I mean, there's so many businesses that we work with that, I mean, are great people to work with. Mako Homes, builders, things like that we work with. It's great just to, I mean, they all have so much knowledge, and then obviously the business side of it as well.
Yeah.
E&E Contracting, Joe Bergen, guy who runs that, he always says at the top of the mountain you have, how does he word that? I need to think of the words. He says collaboration's at the top of the mountain, competition's at the bottom. The people who collaborate get to the top. The people who look at it as competition are at the bottom. So, because we have some things, like we do windows and doors as well, and he does too. So we have some things that are overlay, but we still, I mean, anytime he needs help with anything or I need help with anything, he's always there to help.
I love that. I love that mindset, man. I've never looked at competitors for the most part. You know who you are. For the most part, as competition.
Right.
Like there's enough business for everybody.
There is.
And particularly for us, man, like, we don't take on competitors county by county, right? So like if we have a roofing client in Lee County, we won't take on another one, right?
Yep.
So particularly for us, I only need one.
Yeah.
And there's so many other roofers or HVACs or whatever. So I've always been like, yo, whatever they got to do to feed their family, I'm supportive of that and glad that or hopeful that they're able to succeed in that, because I want to succeed in it. All right, so what year did you start roofing? Because you were a roofer before.
Yeah, so I lived in Indiana. I grew up in Indiana. So my first time on a roof, I was 18, so that would have been I was 22. That would have been about 11 years ago. And I got off the roof and I said, I'm never going to do another roof as long as I live. And
really?
Yeah, I did. I hated it.
You just kept doing it.
I hated it. And then I moved down here and started doing it here, and I loved it. So I learned to love it. So
what got you on the roof?
I needed a job.
Just needed a job, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do long term. I knew I had things in business that I wanted to do. I didn't know exactly what. but this just kind of worked out, fell in my lap a little bit, and so yeah.
Wow. So nothing was like, no internship or
no.
What do they call it, an apprentice or whatever?
No. So
like
I grew up. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Amish Mennonite. I grew up Mennonite.
Yeah.
Is what I would have grown up as.
Okay.
I didn't really have an interest in college. Nothing against college, just for me, it was never really my thing.
Yeah, I didn't finish either.
And so it was something where I knew construction. I knew how to do it. Amish have a lot of construction history,
Sure.
a lot of things like that. So all my relatives would be Amish, and most of them. And so I had that background.
Yeah.
And so doing that was kind of seamless a little bit. Roofing was a little bit of a niche part of the construction, but that was kind of how it was something that I knew, and my history with my dad, working with my dad and things like that, I knew construction. So that's what I jumped into. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I would never dream that it would lead to where we're at now, but that was kind of how it started.
How long you been in Florida?
2016 would have been my first year in Florida. So
can you we might have to cut. Can you tell me, like, there's Mennonite and Amish.
Yeah.
And there's another one too.
Oh man, there's so many.
Is there a bunch?
Yeah, it's like, there's Beachy. There's.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut any of this.
Okay, cool.
No, there's so many different. You can have, even among just Amish, there's so many different. Like there's more conservative Amish or more liberal Amish.
Yeah.
It sounds like it doesn't go together, but it really is the case. And the thing for me, like we would still be Mennonite, my wife and I. But we don't really look at Mennonite as a lifestyle that we live.
Yeah.
That this is how we choose to follow the Bible, but the main thing is we believe in Jesus Christ. It's just the lifestyle we choose to live. It's not it's not anything where we think, oh, this is the only way to do it. It's just this is the way we choose to do it.
The strict way. Yeah, my wife and I and my daughter, we stayed over near in Sarasota. There's that little area that's like Amish country.
I live right there.
Okay, yeah. You know what I'm talking
Pinecraft.
about. Yeah, Pinecraft.
Yeah.
So we stayed. It might have been on Pinecraft, like in an Airbnb. It was a VRBO.
Yeah.
For spring break, and just so we could be a little bit closer to the beach. We live in Parrish.
Gotcha.
So we stayed out there for spring break for my daughter or whatever. And we would walk to the little ice cream shop.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Every night. Walk down there and walk back. It was great ice cream. But as we walked, like, people would kind of, like, ride past us on bikes and kind of look over at us. Like, because, we look out of place. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But we're ignorant to the lifestyle or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, some of them would have, like, cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them would be on electric bikes. And it was like, I didn't think that they could use electricity. Like, what's the deal? My wife's like, I don't know either.
Don't ask me how that works, man. For some reason, electric bikes are definitely allowed. I'm still waiting for the day where I see an Amish guy driving a Tesla, because electric vehicles, like electric bikes, they're allowed to use. Now, again, it would depend. It's so interesting, but so I grew up in Indiana, in Amish country, like close to Shipshewana area.
Okay.
And so if you're in this district and you have this bishop, it would be different. You might not be allowed to have electric bikes, but over here, 10 miles away in this district, you are allowed to. It's just the way it works out. Don't ask me why, but that's how it works.
When you got down here, how much time did you spend at the beach?
Oh man, I spend no time at the beach. I am not a beach guy.
Me either.
My wife enjoys it every once in a while, but I can't even tell you the last time I was there. Except for work.
Okay. I don't like being at the beach.
Yeah.
And I don't like the sand getting in my car.
I
hate that. But I hate to spend money.
Yeah.
And so when I'm out at the beach, there's no money being spent, bro. Everybody's having a nice time. No money's going.
I should maybe try this sometime.
Like, this is a great day that we're having, right? Like, so I dig that, but I can't. Spring break we went with my daughter, and then before that, it's been years. Yeah. And we live so.
I know.
And I tell my family, I'm from Ohio. I tell my family, and they're like, "Why aren't you there every day?"
I know. Yeah, actually, wintertime is about the only time I get there, because I got family that comes and they want to go. They want to go out to the water.
Yeah, it was not 2 degrees outside.
Yeah.
If you were to do something else, not that you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
But if you were to do something else and it couldn't be roofing, what would it be?
It would definitely be real estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually have, so my roofing. I have a business partner in the roofing business, and him and I and his brother, we own a real estate business as well.
Okay.
Now him and I spend 5% or less of our time with it. John is our business partner. He would actually run that business. So most of the time we just do flipping.
Yeah.
We do have an Airbnb, a couple things that we're trying to get into. But
what's your experience with the Airbnb?
We went live about 2 weeks ago, so not much experience at all.
Very new. Yeah.
No, very new. Yeah.
To let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
I've considered something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it would be fun, but it also seems like it could be a headache.
I got a guy for you that he manages Airbnbs. He's probably at, I don't even know how many he's at now, maybe a couple hundred. But he runs a good business. He's actually also has a house in the Pinecraft area. So if I could hook you up with him. His name's Landon Slayball. B&B Breeze. Shout out to Landon. He does great business. Yeah.
Okay.
Does a great job.
And he owns the business?
Yes, he does. And he does managing properties. I know he owns some of his own Airbnbs as well, but he manages and does a great job.
Nice. If you could, this show is specifically for business owners, to kind of tell their story and to share their insights. So, like, if you could picture a colleague or a connection of yours in that seat, you think that would have a good story?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
Oh, that would definitely be Landon. Landon would be great, for sure.
Landon
would do great.
Gotta have Landon on the show sometime soon.
Definitely.
Okay. Later today, in about an hour, there's going to be another entrepreneur sitting in your seat, right? Can't tell you who they are, what they do, but if you were in my seat and you could ask an entrepreneur one question, what would it be?
I'm going to have to think about that for a second. I like what's the biggest risk you've taken?
Ooh.
Biggest risk. That's because everyone who does entrepreneurship, I mean, at some point you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks different for different people,
right.
And what, risk level you're comfortable with, things like that.
What was the biggest risk you took?
Yeah.
What was yours?
Man, see, I didn't know this was going to be brought up. That's for the next guy. Mine, man, I mean, I've been pretty calculated on risk. Even taking over the roofing business with the spot that it was in, we were in debt to some distributors, things like that. And so that probably was the biggest risk.
Yeah.
I had to have guys who helped me a little bit, like, for example, like our metal distributor, Sunshine Metal, Cattleman Road. They did good work.
Shout out.
At that time, it was Noah owned that business. And I went and had a meeting with them, and we owed them probably $40,000 or something like that I didn't have. And I just told him, hey, I just took over. My goal is to pay you back, but I need to keep on getting metal in order to pay you back. And he worked with me. And so things like that. Well, that was probably the biggest risk. But even that, it was still pretty calculated because it wasn't too much of, I was just stepping in and kind of taking over. It wasn't really,
Wow, just go. I love that mentality. I'm the same way. Like, just kind of go straight to. Here's my solution. I got to go to Noah and I got to have this conversation.
Right.
And there's I can't avoid it, right? Like, because then it causes stress.
Yeah.
Like, but so many people would go, oh, let me send an email or let me just send him a note or I'll leave something on his door. Try to avoid him or whatever, not answering that call.
Yeah.
No, just go straight to it.
That was probably the best decision I made running the business because at that point, if he would have stopped giving me metal, I couldn't make any more money.
Right.
There's not much we could do at that point.
Right.
That was, looking back, I didn't think about it really in the moment. It's kind of, I do like more just confronting it and getting it over with.
Yeah.
I don't like letting it fester.
It just creates stress.
It does.
Good stuff, man.
Like
Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a good time.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.